Wow, you have so much music. What are you listening to?
Hello everyone, happy Valentine's Day. If you're watching this, you're probably alone today, but don't worry because there's other things to love, like cinema. My name is Dylan, but you can call me Dill, and today we're going to be talking about the greatest love story of all time, the Twilight Saga. Our story begins with Bella Swan, who's a teenage girl who moves from Arizona to Forks, Washington to be with her father Charlie, second best character in these films, but we get to that later. Immediately, she's swooned over by her classmates, and all the boys want to be with her and all the girls want to be her. But she's a little bit different and she doesn't really fit in. Don't worry, there's someone else who doesn't really fit in. That's right, Edward Cullen, the best character in these movies. He's a bit aloof, but that's what Bella likes about him, and he smells her and instantly falls in love. Bella almost dies by getting hit by a car, but Edward saves her at the last second with his incredible superhuman strength, takes her to a hospital where she meets Carlisle, Edward's father.
I heard the chief's daughter was here.
I'm about to go.
It's there that Bella finds out that this family is not exactly what they seem to be, so she does a little bit of research, which I think anyone in the series could have done to figure out who they are, and finds out that Edward might be a vampire. Confronts him about it in the woods. I know what you are. Say it out loud. Vampire. Then he jumps on a tree and says, "This is the skin of a killer, Bella. It's like a drug to me. You're like my own personal brand of heroin." Yada yada yada. All things that you should say to women. Men, take notes. This is how you woo a woman. Anyways, there's this kid named Jacob in this movie, but he's not important at all. No, I'm serious. He's like not important in this movie at all. Bella meets the rest of the family, including a girl named Alice. She can see the future. It's whatever.
It's okay, Jasper. You won't hurt her.
To which I, whatever. So they play baseball in the rain for a bit, which is so fun, oh my god. Until the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants shows up, and Sabretooth is like, "I'm gonna kill you, Bella, because you're a human." Tries to kill her, but don't worry, they save the day, rip his head off. It's very gruesome. This movie, not as cringy as I thought it would be. Still, the dialogue is a bit cheesy, but that's like just part of the charm. And yeah, I think I would give it like a 7 out of 10. Moving on. This movie has it all. Action, love, heartbreak, romance, montages, and Charlie Swan. Edward breaks up with Bella for her own safety. And the reason he does this is because 2 of the 3 villains from the first movie are still alive and they're gonna go kill Bella. So they run away. Bella can't sleep. Charlie says, you should find another man. Classic Charlie, love him. So Bella hangs out with that kid from the first movie, Jacob, who's actually pretty cool and can do motorcycles, but he's a bit controlling, so it's like, whatever, I don't really want to be with you. She puts herself in danger a couple times to get Edward's attention because that worked out for her pretty well in the first movie, and all that Edward really does is be like, don't do it, but he's a Force ghost, so it's like, it doesn't matter. He's not actually gonna do anything. After Bella rejects Jacob, he joins his friend Sam, who's kind of like the leader of this werewolf cult. They also wear jean cutoffs in the rain, and they're shirtless, and they look like this. Mark's outside. It's really goofy, but it's fun. During the course of this movie, Bella's trying to get Alice's attention by sending her emails to no avail because Alice won't respond for whatever reason. Bella thinks, you know what, F it, man. Jumps off a cliff, almost dies. Jacob saves her. Alice comes back and says, "Oh, I couldn't see you in my visions anymore. I thought you died." Edward calls the house. Jacob picks up the phone. "Hey, is Bella there? We're planning a funeral." Edward thinks that Bella's dead, goes to kill himself. It's hard to kill a vampire. He goes to the head of the Volturi, which is the vampire government, Arrow, and says, "Please kill me." Arrow says, "You haven't committed any crime. I shouldn't kill you." He says, "Okay, I'm gonna expose the vampires." He goes to expose the vampires. Bella and Alice go save the day at the last second, prevent him from exposing vampires. Arrow says, "Wait a minute, Bella, you're a human. That's not cool. Hey, Edward, turn her or else I'm gonna kill her." And Edward says, "Fine, later, I guess." But this is great because that's all that Bella wanted. This movie is definitely the best one in the saga. I give it a 9 out of 10. Moving on. This movie is really more about character development than anything else. You really get to see the love triangle. You see the Chad, Jacob, and the virgin Edward, except that's not really how it is because in reality, I think Edward's kind of a Sigma because he's all like, let Bella do whatever she wants. Like, I don't really want her to be an immortal, but if that's what she wants, then whatever. And Jacob, he's kind of like a little bit of a pissy baby. He's like, no, you shouldn't be immortal. Live in the here and now. And Bella's like, I'm just gonna be an immortal. It's fine. Like, that's what I want. Jacob and Edward have this funny scene where they say, if Bella wasn't around, we'd probably be friends. And I'm just like, yes, more of that, but we never get any more of that. This movie's kind of mid, to be honest. The last fight scene is pretty anticlimactic. They killed the villain in like 5 seconds, and at the end of this movie, we find out that Edward and Bella are gonna get married, and as a reaction, Jacob storms off, but don't worry, Bella kisses him because they needed something to get the stands happy, I guess. And yeah, 6 out of 10, mid. I thought this movie was going to be a fun, awesome little vacation movie. We start with Jacob getting invited to the wedding, but doesn't go. But then he does come, which is really sweet. Edward and Bella slay in their wedding attire, which, why wouldn't they? The high school friends are there again, and they're just talking like, oh my god, I bet she's pregnant. Foreshadowing. They go on a romantic honeymoon getaway to Rio, and then that's when they consummate the marriage, and Bella gets pregnant immediately with a demon baby. It's growing inside of her at a rapid rate, and they don't know what to do, so they take her home. Charlie's like, oh my god, my daughter. Oh my god, my daughter. Poor Charlie, man. He's just worried about his daughter so much in these movies. Sam and the wolf cult, they're kind of like, that's a demon baby. We need to kill it. This pregnancy is killing Bella because she's a human about to deliver a vampire baby. I don't know why Edward hasn't turned her like he promised he would. They got married. She gives birth to the baby, Renesmee, and dies. The resolution of the conflict actually happens pretty quickly. Jacob imprints on Renesmee, which means that no wolf can touch her because he has to protect her for the rest of his life, and that's also how he gets over Bella, I guess. And then after she dies, Edward finally turns her, and that's the end of the movie. Kind of bad, kind of scary to watch. 4 out of 10. Moving on. If you thought Avengers Endgame was the greatest cinematic achievement in history, you've clearly never seen Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 2. One of the guests from the wedding who had a little moment comes to apologize, sees Renesmee and goes, oh my god, that's an immortal child, which is illegal to have because they're insanely powerful and will kill everybody. So she goes to report it to the Volturi, the vampire government. Arrow's like, oh my god, really? Alice disappears pretty early on in the movie because her future sensing abilities tell her that she needs to do that. When the snow sticks, Arrow arrives, they start fighting. If you thought that Justice League Apocalypse War was dark because of how many deaths there were, you've clearly never seen Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 2. Carlisle dies, Emmett dies, a random wolf dies. It's so sad. But don't worry, because it's revealed that Alice was actually future projecting and showing everyone a possible outcome of the situation. Arrow was like, oh my god, maybe we shouldn't fight, but there still is danger, so maybe we should. And then it's revealed that the reason she left was because she brought a half vampire, half human baby, and he's like, I'm like fine and whatever. And Arrow's like, oh, cool. Yeah, I guess you guys get to live. Bye. Mickey from Shameless says, I want to suck your blood, and runs away. So yeah, everyone wraps up their thing. Jacob is no longer obsessed with Bella. Instead, he's obsessed with Bella's kid, which is much healthier. Bella and Edward sit in a grassy field. They reflect on the last few movies. It's pretty beautiful to watch that little montage, honestly. This movie for me is a 9 out of 10, for sure. This saga has it all. Good soundtrack, fun character moments, and campy writing. I mean, how can you go wrong with that? If I had to rank them, I would say New Moon, Breaking Dawn Part 2, Twilight, Eclipse, and Part 4, which is actually just an abomination against all of mankind, and we should never watch it again. If you're alone and not doing anything on Valentine's Day, check out the Twilight Saga. It's pretty worth it, in my opinion. And yeah, all my links are in the description as usual. Thank you so much for watching. Have a beautiful day. Bye.